Good afternoon and welcome to Brewing. I'm your host. My name's Scott Leffler. That's what they call me. They call me other things too, but that's the one that sticks the most. Few topics today. Nothing extraordinary, I suppose. Halloween is over, and that's kind of sad, and yet at the same time, kind of exciting. Um, I love Halloween, and I like decorating for Halloween. I like trick or treating. Went out with the kids last night. We went trick or treating out in Amherst, where they hand out gold bars, or actually like real size candy bars at least. At some of the houses, not all of them, obviously. But when we were done, like sifting through the pounds and pounds and pounds of candy that the kids got, there were like real live candy bars in there, and like a ton of like Reese's cups and Snickers and like none of the crappy candy that we get here in Lockport. I'm just saying, Amherst. Next time you go trick or treating, go out there. Fortunately, Heather's dad's out that way, so it's not like we just like, hey, let's go to Amherst trick or treating. No, we like it was a family thing. And we had pizza, and it was phenomenal, and I love pizza too. But Halloween is over; it's done with. And this morning, I already started taking down my Halloween decorations because I am now like I'm in the next mode. All right, so my birthday was a little over 2 weeks ago, right? And my birthday makes me think of Halloween, and Halloween makes me think of Christmas. So starting on October 15th every year, I'm already in Christmas mode. And I know that people think that's horrible, and you go to the store and you're like, no, not Christmas. But it's such a happy time. I love Christmas. So like I kind of feel guilty around my birthday thinking about Christmas, but now that Halloween is past, now I feel like I can really think about Christmas, except we still have to get past Thanksgiving. So that's in what, 4 weeks? 4 weeks from today, actually, right? Yeah. So 4 weeks from today is Thanksgiving, and then it is like officially Christmas. And I know Christmas is a day, but it's also a season. And so like the day after Thanksgiving in my mind is Christmas. And I know it's like, Leffler, why are you talking about Christmas? It's because I'm a small child and I get very excited about these things. So Christmas, yay. That's all I have to say. You can tweet me live during the show. Just jump onto Twitter and type in the little @ sign, Scott Leffler, and then whatever it is you want to say. Like, Leffler, Christmas equals bad. No. Except it's not, because it's Christmas and it's awesome. And those bananas that I had that were green are still green. They're like freak bananas. I don't know what the problem is. Here's a weird thing. You remember the movie Roger Rabbit? And like no cartoon could like resist the 2 bits part. Like cartoons got to go 2 bits, right? For me, bananas. When I say or hear the word bananas, my mind goes B-A-N-A-N-A-S every single time. It's like something's wrong with me. There are other oddities. I mean, there's a lot of oddities with me, but that's one of them. Anyway, we're going to talk about a skydiver today. We're going to talk about plunging or rising pole numbers, depending upon who you are. We're going to talk about French, and they're not very American in France. And we're going to talk a little bit about Hurricane Sandy. Then I'm going to send you on your way. I'm going to go on my way. I'm going to finish cleaning up from Halloween and start thinking about Thanksgiving. I don't like Thanksgiving, but it is what it is. So, where do we want to start? Let's start with Felix Baumgartner. All right. So a few weeks ago, this guy, he went up in a balloon, way up, way up, way up, way up, like to where you couldn't see him anymore. He was like miles up in the air, and like just at the cusp of space, where Earth becomes where the atmosphere turns into space. Like that's he jumped from there, skydived, broke the sound barrier, and then like parachuted to Earth. It was like science fiction, except it was science fact. Felix Baumgartner, sponsored by Red Bull. Like, really, why not? Why not have an energy drink sponsored by Red Bull? There were jokes at the time that it's really sad when an energy drink has a better space program than you do. Well, of course, the United States does have a space program, and right now most of our attention is focused on the Mars rover, which is cool, right? So we send this little robot guy, we send him up to Mars, and he like wanders around and takes specimens and like looks at rocks. And like there was a day where like there was something shiny. Did you see this in the news? There was a day there was something shiny, and the Mars rover was like, whoa, something shiny. Like even robots, that happens to. I know that happens to me. I'm like, ooh, something shiny. Like I'm having a conversation, and then suddenly it's like, what? I get confused. Apparently, Mars rover gets confused too. But he's up there exploring, analyzing, testing, sending back pictures. And it's cool. I mean, that is it's the height of ingenuity, right? We sent we sent a robot to another planet where it is broadcasting live. Just stop and think about the incredibleness of this. And I think it's neat. I have no idea what it costs. But Felix Baumgartner, the guy that jumped out from the energy drink bubble, says whatever it costs, it's too much. He says because it's tax dollars, it should really be for the greater good. And really, what greater good is going to come from us analyzing rocks on Mars? At least at this point, when we are so strapped, if you will. He says there's so much that we can spend money on here on the planet Earth to explore and learn and etc. And really, he says, like, if it were a private company that wanted to do that, cool, have at it, have fun on Mars. But because it's tax dollars, there are better things that we could spend our money on. You would think that Felix Baumgartner, the guy who jumped from space, would be in favor of any space exploration. But apparently he has a frugal side that says, no, don't think that this is such a good idea. So I think that's kind of interesting. I'm going to I have a link to that story, and I will post it on my Twitter feed later. And you can respond to it by tweeting at Scott Leffler. The name of the show is Brewing. I'm drinking coffee today, despite the fact that I don't have to work today. Second day in a row, no work. Yay me. I do have to work tomorrow. So the normal beer Friday thing, which we skipped last week because I didn't have beer. We won't be able to do that again this week because I have to work. So beer plus work equals Scott plus no job. So that would be bad. I like having money. It's handy for, I don't know, paying rent, buying food, clothing, the occasional night out. So, yeah. Back to it. In France, they want to have a night out. Well, not everybody in France wants to have a night out, but there are some people who are very upset. Muslims Muslims specifically want to have a night out, or not so much a night out, but they want to get out there and they want to speak their piece. And here's why. Apparently, there's a new French cartoon depicting the Prophet Muhammad, or just Muhammad. I think they don't. I think Muslims don't refer to him as the Prophet Muhammad, right? He's just Muhammad. I think in the Christian world, he's the Prophet Muhammad. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about Islam, and that's sad, right? I mean, I know quite a bit about Christianity. But I don't know anything about Hindu. I don't know anything about Islam. Not that I don't know anything, but I don't know enough. I'm ignorant. I think most of us are. It's really sad. And most of us are okay with it. And I'm usually okay with it. Except when I say something like the Prophet Muhammad, and then it clicks in my head that, like, maybe he's not the Prophet Muhammad to them. Maybe he's just Muhammad. I don't know. Like Jesus Christ. I think other religions just refer to him as Jesus. Because I don't believe that they believe that he's the Christ child, right? Although there's historical figures that say that Jesus existed, he may or may not have been Jesus Christ. He was Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, that I know. Except he's not really celebrated in Judaism. So that's, again, religion is interesting. I don't know enough about it. Back to France, where there was a new French cartoon depicting Muhammad. And of course, you can't do that. They get upset. So France said protests about this topic are banned. I'm sorry. I can't do a French voice. I'm sorry. I want to do a French voice. I want to get like a mustache too and be like Frenchy, but I'm not going to. But they banned protests dealing with this because they're afraid that they'll turn violent, like many protests involving Muslims often do. And I don't want to paint Muslims with a bad brush, just like I wouldn't paint Christians with a bad brush. But it seems as though there are factions in the Muslim world that will use any opportunity to become violent. Kind of like that friend you have who, like, every time he gets drunk, takes a swing at somebody. There's that faction exists within the Muslim world. So the French have said, no, sorry, no protests, not going to do it. Interior Minister Manuel Valls. Manuel doesn't sound like a very French name, does it? I tend to think of, and again, this is just more ignorance on my part. I tend to think of everyone in England is British. Everyone in France is French. Everyone in Spain is Spanish. Everyone in Russia is Russian. I don't tend to think of immigrants to other countries. So Manuel sounds to me as though it's a Spanish name, but he's in France, and that's confusing to my little pea brain because only French people are in France. Does that make sense? Like the strangest thing for me is like watching British television and seeing people with different accents other than British or Cockney or whatever. Because in my mind, like British is for the Brits. British is for the Brits. Jesus Christ. Britain is for the Brits. So, and I did say Jesus Christ because I'm a Christian. See, it's not just Jesus, it's Jesus Christ. And now I'm thinking of Bill Cosby. But Dad, I'm Jesus Christ. Loved Bill Cosby. Anyway, so in France, you can't protest. There will be strictly no exceptions. Demonstrations will be banned and broken up, according to Interior Minister Manuel Valls. It's not very American of them, is it? And then I remember they're not American. They're French, which is why this guy's name seems strange to me. Because if he were the Interior Minister of the United States, that wouldn't seem weird to me at all. But Interior Minister of France, that seems odd. Doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. Yakety, awesome, the schmackety. Every once in a while, all right, so it has been more than 3 years now since I did radio. But every once in a while, when my brain stops to reset itself, which is something that it does, when I go from topic to topic, for example, or when I just need a second to compose myself, I want to spit out a phone number. I want to spit out the phone number from the radio station that I worked at. Because it's like it's second nature. This was 3 years ago and it's second nature. It's really weird. Similar story. My friend Dave got married recently and he's not used to wearing his wedding ring yet. Apparently he takes it off and puts it on. I don't know why people do this. I guess if you have if you're a woman, you have a big honking 85 carat ring and you don't want to get it caught on the shag rug, whatever. You may find a need to take it off. My wife used to take hers off to do the dishes. And then she would leave it off for weeks at a time. I never took mine off, ever. However the hell long we were married. 15 years technically, but in actuality it was closer to 12. I never took it off. I didn't see any point to it. It didn't get in the way. I didn't want to take it off to go out and pick up chicks because that wasn't something that I did. So I just kept it on all the time. So 3 years later, every once in a while, I will run my hand over my finger, I will run my thumb over my finger like this, and I'll freak out because I'm like, oh my God, where's my ring? Oh, right. I haven't worn a ring we're going on 4 years now, actually. Weird how that happens. So, I don't know. Hopefully I have a wedding ring again someday. And then when I run my thumb over my finger like that, I'll go. It was comforting. I don't know why. I don't know why I told you that story either. I'm a sharer. That's why. Other sharers. Andrew Cuomo, governor of the state of New York. He shared yesterday the fact that he thinks that the devastation from Hurricane Sandy and other storms in general lately are greatly increased due to, wait for it, climate change. No, Andy, why would you do that? Everybody seems to be on the same page as far as cleanup and not being political and etc. And then Andy Cuomo's like, I'm Al Gore. I think it was climate change. Look, I don't care what you think it was, Andy. That was dumb. That was a dumb thing to say 5 days before the election, 6 days before the election, because I picked up on it, and I'm pretty sure that Sean Hannity, with his nasally voice, picked up on it too, and Bill O'Reilly with his Bill O'Reilly-ness and Rush Limbaugh, and everybody, then now, oh, it's a Democrat conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Andy, look, you're a Cuomo, so I'm going to give you a bit of a pass because it's obvious you come from your lineage is not there. But I don't know why you would say such a thing. It's just, unless, of course, he was pressed. Is this about climate change? Although, no, even then he could say, you know what, I have no idea. I'm not a scientist. I do know that it seems like storms are worse lately than they used to be. but I'm going to leave science up to scientists, and I'll deal with helping New York State recover. Is what he could have said, should have said. Death toll now 26 from Hurricane Sandy, which is in my mind. Today is all about the mind of Scott. In my mind, people die of old age or like getting hit by cars, falling off of roofs, occasionally violence. In my mind, people don't die from rainstorms. I know it happens every year, but it doesn't exactly, like, it just doesn't click with me. Like, I don't think of people, I just don't think of people dying from rainstorms. Hurricanes, no matter what. I mean, look, I can understand people dying from tornadoes or or even the wind of hurricanes. It's more difficult for me to understand. Tornadoes I get. Tornadoes pick your house up and move it, and if you're inside, you move with it, and it could be incredibly painful when it lands, like Dorothy and the witch and all that fun stuff. Oh my God! Speaking of the Wizard of Oz, I saw this thing the other day, and it was on the internet. It was on the internet, so you know it's true. And it was like in a TV guide section, like the Wizard of Oz was playing, and then the description for the show says, uh, a young girl in a strange land kills a woman and gets a taste for blood and teams up with three weirdos to kill again, or something along those lines. Like that was the plot description for the Wizard of Oz. How do we get to the Wizard of Oz? Doesn't matter. In my mind, people don't die from storms. I know it happens, but it seems fictitious. So the thought that there are 26 people that died from Hurricane Sandy is incredibly sad to me. I don't know. More Sandy politics. Sandy politics. New York. All right. So Michael Brown. We'll go there. Michael Brown was the director of FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Association, under George W. Bush during Katrina time. Heck of a job, Brownie. That guy. The Katrina was a disaster. The storm itself was a disaster. The federal government's response to it, equally disastrous. And because of that, there were more deaths in Katrina than I would have to assume there are going to be in Sandy. I mean, Katrina destroyed a city. Just destroyed a city. And the federal government's response was, we'll get there later. They're fine. It's just some water. That was Michael Brown. Well, he is criticizing the president for, and I'm not kidding, reacting too fast. He believes that President Obama has reacted too fast, and the reason he reacted so fast is because it's politically expedient to react. Basically, he's saying that the president is showboating in dealing with Hurricane Sandy for political reasons. Now, keep in mind, the majority of the devastation for Hurricane Sandy is in New York and New Jersey. Two blue states. Very blue. Incredibly blue. Like blue. So I don't know how many votes he's going to pick up in New York and New Jersey and why they would matter. But, yeah, so he's out there. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, Republican, big guy. Kind of a jerk, but I like him. I like the fact that he says what he thinks. And that's always been the case. There was some speculation that Mitt Romney may pick him as a running mate. But I think that he comes across as too brazen to a lot of people. And so Mittens decided to go in another direction. But Chris Christie has praised President Obama's response, which has him in hot water with the rest of the Republican Party because you can never say anything good about the black guy. And I'm sorry that sounds asshole-ish of me to say it like that, but I mean, I don't see any other way to see it, frankly. So yeah, you're never allowed to say anything good about President Obama. also known within many circles of the Republican Party as the black guy. So, not my personal view on him, but yeah. So, he's taking some heat, including from Wendy Long, who is running for state senate against Kirsten Gillibrand in New York State, hoping to be my senator. Wendy Long's poll numbers are around 25%. Her chances of winning are slim to none, and Slim just left town on a horse. Floated away on a horse. So she's criticizing both Obama and Christie. And she says, and I quote here, "Thank goodness the president did show up. He's finally doing his job. He's supposed to be on the ground at times like this." She blasted Obama as a do-nothing, aloof, detached president. Now, Long didn't go this route, but Michael Brown did, basically saying, the president is reacting this quickly to this hurricane, but he didn't react to Benghazi, where people died, and others have made the same claim, that, like, why is the president reacting this quickly here when he didn't react like that with Benghazi? Because that's all they want to talk about. They want to talk about Libya. They want to talk about Benghazi because they think that they have something there. They want to change the topic. Basically, well, the president did really well on this hurricane thing, so let's talk about this thing over here. Ooh, something shiny. It's the Mars rover all over again, except with Republicans. So I don't know. I don't. Look, we got 5 days to go. We can get there. You and me, we can do it together. All right, because we have to, because we don't have a choice. And the next Tuesday vote, and I saw something interesting. I'm going to waste my vote, all right? And I saw something interesting yesterday. This morning, it all blends. I don't know. I'm going to waste my vote on a guy named Gary Johnson, Libertarian candidate for president. Why am I going to waste my vote? Why am I calling it a wasted vote? I don't really believe that I'm wasting my vote, but other people say so. And in fact, he said, waste your vote on me. He's not going to win. I know he's not going to win. He knows he's not going to win. So I'm going to waste my vote on him. We're going to talk a little bit more tomorrow on wasted votes. All right. And I wish I could do it with beer. It would be more fun. But alas, again, I have to work tomorrow night. But I like Fridays. Fridays are easy days. And then I have Saturday and Sunday off. Halloween party Saturday, I think, maybe, depends. It's a tentative plan. We'll have to see what happens. And then Sunday, just chilling at home, having fun with the kids, doing our thing. Maybe we'll decorate for Thanksgiving. Although I don't really know how you decorate for Thanksgiving. So maybe we won't. I don't know. We have some Thanksgiving decorations. Maybe we'll make those little turkeys. We'll make turkeys with me. You want to do that tomorrow on the show? We'll make turkeys. No? You want to cook? I'll share recipes. No? Okay. We'll come back and talk more about politics. You've been watching Brewing. My name's Scott Leffler. Tweet me at Scott Leffler, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks. Love you all.